say, oh, yet, and
you said to say you sumo Ghana Haydu.
Sapa Pepe. Says here, tap send that Renashim. Copium were United Arab Emirates, Netherlands, and Austria. Tap send now. Papa, no.
Hello and welcome to today's show. So my name is Akosua, as per usual, and my co-host is
Abena.
And together we're known as the Oasis. So yeah, thank you for coming to today's show. Welcome to today's show. Abena, why are you looking a bit dull? What's the problem?
Oh, I'm looking down because I'm expecting to increase my life expectancy. So I'm here looking down and looking forward to what you're going to say to help me brighten up.
You want to be enriched by today's program. I can see. Absolutely. Well, you've come to the right place.
No, that's fine. So first of all, we would like to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Tap Send and OT Media. So I would like to give a shout out to them, and then shout out to our lovely audiences, our lovely people who have constantly joined us without fail every week and tuned in. We thank you all. And yes, without further ado, today our very own Dr. Akos is also our speaker in Tien Jankra. Straight up, Dr. Akos, take us there. Tell us how to be immortal, please.
Well, why you put it that way? Well, since I'm a Christian, the only way to be immortal is through Jesus Christ. But definitely. Thank you so much, all our faithful watchers who are here with us, who are here on time. Remember that this, as much as this is a health talk and there's specific topics, that this is also a place where you can come and basically any health issues or any health queries that you have, you can ask on this platform as an open space. You can ask either for yourself anonymously, you can send us a private message, any way you want to ask, and your questions will be answered. So once again, thank you all for patronizing the show. And without further ado, I'm going to tell you about how you can increase your life expectancy, as Abena said. So just a quick one. I was invited to talk on a Rotaract show about your kitchen being your pharmacy, and I didn't come up with the name of that topic, but I really liked that topic, so I'm going to share my screen. And basically it talked about your kitchen being your pharmacy. And if you think about what a pharmacy is basically somewhere where you go if you're not feeling well. That's where you're going to go and get your medication. In the UK as well, that's actually somewhere where you can actually go to the pharmacist and ask for advice. These days our GPs, they like gold dust. It's really difficult to get a GP appointment or hospital. You'll be waiting in A&E for 4 hours. So the pharmacy is somewhere you can go for quick advice for really uncomplicated issues. So if we think about comparing your kitchen to your pharmacy, then it got me thinking, actually, if we think about the role of medicine in our daily life and the role of what does medicine do? Well, medicine basically helps us increase our life expectancy. Even now, like AIDS, you can basically live longer because of medication that we have for AIDS. Do you know what I mean? So basically, how can we then increase our life expectancy? By doing really, really simple things in our kitchen. So this is what today's topic about: your kitchen, your pharmacy. Okay. Now, I just wanted to give a definition of what health is, and this is what it is. So health does not mean that you don't fall sick at all. So living a healthy life doesn't mean that there's absence of illness or disease, but health just means the equal healthy lifestyle in all aspects of your life. So in your mental illness, in your mentality, in your physical, in your emotional well-being, everything should be at balance. So somebody can be really, really well physically and they can be really fit, really good heart, but then they can have issues with their mental health. In that case, according to whose definition, you're actually not a healthy person because you're only healthy physically. You can have really, really good mental health, but if you're not taking care of your physical health, then you're not mentally, you're not physically, you're not basically healthy according to whose definition. So I just want us to remember this definition for today, that being healthy encapsulates everything: mental well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being. It's all part of it. Okay. So yeah, that's just the definition. Now, I also wanted to get us this chart, which shows us basically proportions of what we should be eating. And I think this is very, very important, especially when it comes to the Ghanaian diet. Because if you can see here, according to everything, not just the Ghanaian diet, so the African diet, but obviously because I'm Ghanaian, so I'm putting it more, but actually the West African diet, the African diet in itself, well, we'll come to that in a bit. But if you can see, we've got the percentage on the side. So I don't know if you can see where my cursor is just here. So if you look at this green section, that's your fruits and vegetables. Out of everything you're eating, your fruits and vegetables should make up 40% of what you're eating. Your carbohydrates then actually make up 38%. So I know a lot of people will say things like no carbs diet, and all that stuff. But actually, carbohydrates are very good for you, and you should actually be eating. If you want to have a proportional, healthy, balanced diet, you should be having 38% of your meal being carbohydrates. But we'll come to what type of carbohydrates you should be having as well. And then you have your 12% being your things like your beans, your tuna, your protein. So my family, my mom says that our grandfather is a hunter. So whenever she eats, she says if she doesn't have meat on her food, then she feels like she feels like she hasn't eaten. But basically, protein should only be making 12% of your diet, and then as you can see, the rest there. And then fat. Look at the percentage of fat. Can you see that? Yes. So those of us who like our fatty foods, that's the only percentage of fat you should be eating. Okay. Now let's move to the next slide. Now, this is probably one of the most important slides that I'm going to show you today, and it talks about eating the rainbow. So that's just an expression to say that, again, we tend to go towards one-way style of eating. So a lot of the time we say, because a lot of time we say people should eat greens, they forget to eat the other colors in the rainbow. But actually eating the other colors in the rainbow is very, very important. So I know that this part for Ghanaians or Africans is not going to be a problem, because we like our garlic, don't we? So, we garlic and our onions and things like that, we like that. So that's not a problem. Our tomatoes as well, it's not a problem at all, because we cook every Ghanaian food, the base of every Ghanaian food is basically tomatoes. So actually, if you think about it, we're doing quite well, aren't we? Having contumely, then you're chucking in the greens, and that's very good. Even eggplant as well. So actually, we're not doing too bad. But eating the rainbow is just talking about eating different colors, and the different colors also tackle different aspects of your body. So, for example, I'll just take the red like for the red section, it has something called lycopene, and lycopene basically is good for things like your heart. So it prevents heart disease, and I know it says other things here, like it prevents certain cancers. But if you think about the color red, and the heart being red because of blood, so basically the red foods are basically protective to the heart. So again, this is where it comes into being your kitchen, your pharmacy. In your pharmacy, what kind of drugs have you got in there? Have you got your tomatoes for your heart? Have you got your your carotenoids for your eyes? So the orange ones, like your carrots, your sweet potatoes, bell peppers, those things are good for your heart. Sorry, your eyes, they've got the carotenoids. And then you've got the green ones, the chlorophylls, and those are good. They help with colon cancer, they help wounds heal, energy levels. So things like spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, the ones that people don't like, but those are good. So this is what we talk about. And then you've got your eggplants and blueberries and things like that. So the blue ones, what do? They prevent breast cancer, help improve your cholesterol levels. So if you think, again, when I said about going to the pharmacy, if you think about going to your kitchen when you're feeling a bit low in energy, have you got something green in your fridge to just take and eat and say, oh, I'm going to increase my energy levels today? If you feel like, oh, I've got a bit of chest pain, have you got something red to pick up? If you feel like I've got a bit of indigestion, I'm feeling bloated, have you got something blue or purple to pick up? These are your medications that you should have in your fridge, essentially. Okay. Now, this is my favorite part of this talk. There's something called the Culturally Adopted Eat Well Guide. So if you remember the slide I showed you before, if you look at the things in the carbohydrate section, we've got potatoes, we've got porridge, we've got pasta. But if we're looking at the West African diet, we're saying potatoes, Unless you're living in Europe, or you're living in the UK, or like Italy or wherever it is, and maybe you're not getting the
cassava, these things.
cassava and things. But knowing Ghanaians, they will find an African store and still be eating that fufu. So we have the West African version for you, as you can see now on my slide. So here, it's still the same percentage. It's still 38% of your carbohydrates, whether it's your jollof rice. Look here, it says wache, you see?
I absolutely love it.
Yes. Your, what does it say? Fufu, pounded yam, sweet potatoes, the eba. It has eba here for our Nigerians, it's got, and then I love here. So, like in the vegetable section, you can see that you've got egusi stew here. So even in kontomire, because eforiro and kontomire are quite similar. Like eforiro is like the kontomire in the Nigerian version. So you can see that you can eat a lot of balance. Again, you don't have to stick to a westernized food. You can actually still eat your African foods and still manage to have your balanced diet within all of these. And I love even here, you see, even when it comes to the protein section, they've done suya. You look, skewed meat. Suya is right there, so you've got no excuses, So yeah, that's the slide anyway. So I like to be practical. I like to explain to my my patients and people who listen to me what exactly they have to do to keep sort of a balanced diet. Now, okay, let's just go to the practical section. So there's a website called MyFitnessPal, and the good thing about it is you can actually count how much calories you're eating a day. So if you look at this slide, which shows, what sections of food you should be eating, again, now this is getting a bit technical, but I'm going to make it as simple as I can. Every person is different. And that's why sometimes somebody can come to me and say that, oh, doctor, I've been eating less food, but I feel like I'm not losing any weight. Somebody can also come and say, I've been eating more food, but I feel like actually I want to gain weight, but I'm not gaining weight. And that's because everyone's body is made up differently. So when you come to doctors like me, who obviously also have a specialist interest in nutrition and sports medicine, we've learned this and we know how each person's bodies work. So we can calculate how much you should be eating, or what percentage of each section you should be eating. So this brings me to the calories counting. So for example, a normal person should be eating something like 2,000. That's just generalizing. But if we put it on average, a normal person should be eating 2,000 calories a day. That's if you want to maintain your current weight, give or take. I think for ladies, it might be a little bit lower. So for females, it might be 1,500. And
for ladies, it's 2,000, and for males, 2,500.
Gym veteran. Thank you. Yeah. But Abuna here has done she's gone through all of this. She's gone through, she's very good when it comes to calorie counting. So she's gonna keep me right on this on this section. She takes her gym very seriously, and boy, whole story. But so thank you. So ladies are 2,000 and I think men are 2,500. So that's how much you should be eating if you want to maintain your current weight. If you want to lose weight, you should eat less than, for a lady, 2,000 calories, for a man, 2,500 calories. If you want to gain weight, you should be eating more. So a lot of people who come to see me who are from African continent would say, but with the kind of foods that we're eating, it's difficult to count calories, because when you go to the Tesco's, you can get a bottle like something like this, and then you have the calories on it. The calories are literally written there. But if you go and you're pounding your own fufu or you're making goat meat, it's difficult to count your own calories. So there's this website called MyFitnessPal, and if you go on it, you can literally type in what kind of food you want. So I've made a calculation here to show how many calories are in light soup and a fufu meal, and it says it's 570 calories. So if you look at the goat meat, it says goat meat of 112 grams is 160 calories. So that's what we've got here. The Ghanaian light soup, it says it's 200 calories. And then the fufu is 210 calories. So if you add all of that together, you've got 570 calories. So in that one meal of fufu and light soup that you're eating, is 570 calories. So if you eat that one meal a day and you're a lady, then you've got roughly 1,400 calories left if you have 2,000 calories. But if you want to lose weight, so do you see what I mean? There's some calculation here. So if you feel lazy and you don't want to be doing these calculations, that's why you should come and see people like me, and we'll help you with it. Now, I wanted to use this as an example. I mean, I did not use this as an example because of you, because I did this talk and you were not even there. So these slides are from previously, but I know your favorite food is red. But I just wanted to show you how much calories red has. Can you see that? Yeah? Yes. So, this is red with gari though. So this is dry cassava grits. So the gari, this is how much the gari, you see, gari is 186. The fried plantain, 240. Because of the oil and the frying. So the fat cost is a lot, isn't it? And then you've got the Ghanaian, the red stew itself, which is 210. So if we put and I guess this was 64 times 10, because what it is one fried plantain is 64 calories. But I said, okay, if you're having 10 pieces, yeah, and we know usually you have more, but if you're having 10 pieces, it comes to 240. So imagine if you're having 20 pieces, that's double, right? Okay, very good. Just wanted to leave that there. And then cassava as well. This was 62 for 3 tablespoons. So I said if you're having 9 tablespoons, I times it by 3. So I'm obviously, a few calculations here, but it's 1,036. So imagine if you've got only 2,000 calories a day and one meal of red is giving you 1,036. That means you've only got about 900 left, right? So essentially, this was just an example to show people that, healthy eating it just comes down to there are some sacrifices you must make. And I haven't said, I'm not saying you shouldn't eat red at all. The last talk I said, somebody said to me, what has red done to you? What has gobe done to you?
Exactly.
I like gobe very much, but I just, there are healthier ways of eating gobe. These days they're air fryers. So you can fry your plantain without actually using the oil. You can chuck the plantain in an air fryer. That'll take away the oil aspect of it. Abana's doing her face like it's not going to taste the same.
Oh, I haven't said anything. You're on the right path.
The red, instead of using zumi, you can use olive oil. Just to cut down on where the fat is going on all those things. And then you can add some. I saw a post where somebody had put spinach on top of their fufu. Maybe you can put some spinach next to the red. Make it balanced. But essentially, that's all about the talk. I'm going to leave the rest for questions. But just to wrap up what I've said, basically, it's just remember that your kitchen is your pharmacy. The food that you stock in your kitchen is essentially what you're using to treat yourself or prevent yourself from any disease. There are people who take vitamins. There are people who take medications to even prevent themselves from getting sick. So even if you're not sick at the moment, think about it as being a preventative measure. Stock up your kitchen with foods that are going to prevent you from getting sick in the future. And this is how you're essentially going to prolong your life. And then when it comes to the actual making meals aspect of things, think about ways and how you can reduce fat from your meals. Remember of the percentages you're supposed to have. 40% is supposed to be fruit and vegetables, and then you're 38% of other things as well. So just think about all of that when you're preparing how you can take away the fats from your food and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to end that there. I hope you've learned something. I look forward to your questions because I know you've all got burning questions about how to eat your fufu and your light soup and your abenkwine and all those things, but we're here for you. So yeah, thank you for listening to me.
I mean, I didn't realize this was actually going to be a topic. It's quite a topic that's also I know a bit about. So and already questions are up. So as always, Dr. Akos, thank you. And we'll take a quick break, get an adverts going on, and then after we come back, we'll take questions. We already have 2. So please hold on for us for a minute. Thank you.
Tap send. Oh, my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With oneness, baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through tap send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download tap send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download tap send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other tell the world you channel, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Hello, this is Lawyer Wisdom of Wismart Solicitors. Join me this and every Friday on OT TV from 8 to 9 p.m. for all your UK immigration matters. I hope to see you there. Thank you.
And welcome back. Thank you, everyone. And especially thank you to Dr. Akos for taking the topic today and doing it justice. Inti Yebako straight into it. We've got 2 hands up. Inti, let's start with Amasewa.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
When Katri, okay. You woke can be about olive oil, switching Zumi for olive oil. And I wanted to just find out more because I believe olive oil is meant to garnish your salads and other things because heat can't olive oil. I may be wrong. Heat can't olive oil. It's even worse than sunflower oil. Internal Zumi, so you look at the process chemicals be in. Why should we switch to olive oil instead of Yezumi?
Thank you very much for that question. I like to say you asked that question because as I said it, I was actually in my head, I was thinking I should have clarified it. So the olive oil, there are different types of olive oil. So yes, you have the extra virgin olive oil and you have the virgin olive oil. Those ones are not supposed to be touched by heat at all. But any vegetable oil or fruit, natural oils like the olive oil, you can use heat on a normal olive oil. But we need to get the differentiation because you're right. When with the virgin and the extra virgin, with the heats compare better, so those ones are better for the salad dressings. The reason why I say the zomi, as much as the zomi is natural, it's still very fatty. So it's almost like I always say things like avocado. Avocado is good. It has good fats in it, and is a good fruit. If you have high cholesterol, to the doctor, they will tell you to cut down or even stop eating avocado pear because even though it has the cholesterol in it, if you've got too much of it, it can, too much of everything is bad. So in effect, yes, the zomi is not terrible, but if we're comparing oils, I would say that the zomi is fattier and more unhealthy than things like the olive oil. So you're quite right in saying, and again, I always say to people, I never tell, unless I really have to, I never say to anybody, stop eating this. I just say use down or cut down. So some of our people, they'll be using zomi for everything. So zomi for your stew, zomi for beans, zomi for equine. Then before you know it, by the end of the week, you're eating zomi breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's what I'm saying. If there's somewhere where you can cut it or swap it for something better, try and do that.
And I think you need to talk about the quantity when it comes to the Ghanaian foods. Yes. Because with Ghanaians, when Ghanaians cook, I grew up seeing that when they cook, they always want to see the oil floating on it. Yes. And I think we need to talk about the way, if our kitchen is our pharmacy, then we need to just really know what we're doing. Too much of it is bad. And if you look at it's not just the Ghanaian community. Sorry, I'm a health professional, so when I'm talking, you understand.
I can tell you're one of us.
Yeah. When you look at the Africans, there's a lot of blood pressure issues. There's a lot of diabetes. So if we're talking about health, I would prefer us to really tackle those things to help people to overcome it. Because if they don't know how to overcome it, And you saying, oh, I mean, what you're saying is right. You are 100% right. But I think let's be more practical. Yeah, let's show people what, because people will so want to know. Okay, usi fufu. Fufu, yes, fufu, you're bad. But the point is, fufu, which type of fufu? Is it the powdered one which is full of sodium?
So I mean, so I thank you for the questions and I thank you for the clarification. And I think say if we were to go into all of it in detail, we will not be able to finish today. And that's why we do it little by little. In our previous talk show, we talked about hypertension. So we've actually spoken about that and even spoken about how to wash the Kobe because, you know, salt causes hypertension, all of that. So we do, that's why we have the OT health talk every Wednesday where we're going to try and break all these very, very important things. And I think maybe I need to invite you next time to come and talk about some of these things so I can tell that obviously you're quite passionate about it. And I'd love to have you.
I am passionate about nutrition.
So I think please leave your details in the show so that we can talk about
it. Kwame knows me very well.
So but it's very important, like you say, and I think definitely we need to break it down. And like it's difficult because within the remit of just this topic, it's difficult to go with the nitty-gritties. That's why if people ask the questions, obviously I'll answer. But if you keep coming to the talk show, obviously we will break it down as time goes along. But thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I'll come back. I will allow people to ask questions and then I'll come back.
Sure, come back. Am I on mute?
Sorry. Thank you, Amma, for the question. Thank you, Dr. Akos. Pressure, I'm so. Actually, for this one, because you said I went through a similar sort of dieting thing, yeah, I can actually like chip in here and there, but obviously I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical doctor, but we have Dr. Akos here to correct us. Dr. Mustafa, please, you can go ahead.
Oh, this is the time to say Mustafa, not Dr. Mustafa.
I'm sorry. I just can't help it. You earned that title. So.
Anyways, hello. One thing that I've realized also is that Ghanaians, if you can check, if you can advise us on, because sometimes I ask myself like things like shito. I'm sure some of these shito things have some cancerous things that even attached to it, because at the long run, some researchers have shown that long-term cooking with a high degree turns some food substance into cancer. Because if you can touch on things like shito and things like spinach being boiled the whole day, the whole night,
I think this is a very good question because I can put my hand up and say I am guilty for this. So even today I was cooking some, I was basically making this stir-fried cabbage or lettuce or whatever they call it. And I like it to be soft. So I remember keeping it on the heat and at the end I already, you can tell at the end I already. A few more minutes. So my mom had to come and my mom was like, Akos, have you not overcooked this cabbage? And I was looking at the thing like, Charlie, it's for the taste. It's not for the at this point, it's not for the nutrients again, it's for the taste because like, you know, Mustafa is saying, you're quite right. When, especially with fruits and vegetables, if you overboil them, you actually lose their nutritional value. And this is another thing that, I mean, Amasawa mentioned as well, even with the olive oil, because with some substances, if you overheat them, some substances are not even supposed to be heated at all. But if you're going to, like spinach, if you're going to warm spinach, you should just really touch and go, rather than boiling for the whole, 30 minutes. I always say, even cooking a stew, and the tomatoes, but that's the nice one. It tastes good. You know, the ones that you use for wachi, and it's like when all the water has evaporated because it's been on the heat for like 1 hour. It tastes really good.
I think we used to do that because we wanted to preserve it and we didn't have refrigerators in the past.
But it tastes good. The thing is, it tastes good. But I think I agree with Dr. Mer. Again, we can come back to this about how to cook your food. I think maybe we need to do a different topic altogether on how to cook food so that it's keeping the nutritional value. But you're right. But it's not something that I can just answer like right now. So
Oh, okay. I was just going to bring it back to his question. Sorry, Dr. Musto, I've sort of hijacked your question because he made a point about shitono, the shito. Because is that good the way we do our shito? Is it good or not? In the long term, are we harming ourselves? Are we doing more harm than good?
In that case, I really cannot comment on this because I'll need to find out about that, like exactly. But I mean, if we're thinking about how generally things work, and if you think about how shito is almost like burnt you basically fry the onions till they're pretty much to burning point. I think Amma maybe has a comment that she wants to add to this. So it's almost the reason why they say it's carcinogenic, because if you even think about how like when things become burned or charred, then they do cause, there's a likelihood of causing cancer. And I guess that's where Mustafa is coming from. But for me to comment exactly and say that, shito causes cancer, I think that would be like the most scandalous thing outside. Like, it'll be in the newspapers tomorrow. Some Dr. Akosua be in UK saying that shito causes cancer. So no, I'm not going to say that, but I'll basically have to look into it. But yeah, I think we just need, from that comment, the only thing I will comment is that we do need to think about how we cook some of our foods, because actually that, like Mustafa said, the longer they stay on the fire, the more they lose their nutritional value. And that's exceptionally true when it comes to things like our fruits and our vegetables. Yep.
Fantastic. Mustafa, any more to add to it, Mustafa? Hold on. Dr. Mustafa?
Yes, currently I am working on doing a research on the reason why I think shito can cause cancer in the long run. So,
you're going to upset a lot of Ghanaians, a lot of us. But
because I mean, some of these things I feel like have a lot of historical background. These ideas of Idranine, I'm being here, and all those things. In the past, is because the hygienic stuffs and in Asefono can easily make Uyembe. So there's a lot of research to be done under all this, but a lot of research so far in the Western world have shown that frying things for a very long time are carcinogenic. And that's why the idea of air fryers came in place and this here and there. So the less we fry, especially some of the Hausa one, who say no, we'll fry it today with the same oil, and China will fry it tomorrow with the same oil. Yet me you should be 1 week. Then you go so fry before we pour an oil away, and then I just said I'm a from. I just said oil now gasasa.
But you see, another thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, most of you make a good point. But another thing I wanted to say, but cultural differences as well, because even look at when you think about steak, right? I hardly seldom see an African or a Ghanaian go to a restaurant, and I'm not saying people don't, but I hardly see it where people say they want rare steak, or even if it's medium rare or whatever. Most of the time, every African that you ask, whenever we've gone out and you've asked our friends, it's like, oh, well done, well done. The people who are buffalized a little bit will say, oh, medium well. And that's even them trying to be a bit like, oh yeah, we're not gonna eat charred steak. But it's because we just like to overcook our things, we just like to eat well-made food. And like Mustafa might be saying, it might come from a cultural place where we were feeling like, because of back in the day, hygienic reasons and things, but it's a cultural thing and it'll take a long time for us to get over that. But I think it's little by little, education by education. I think the next time, not immediately next, but I think it should be we should talk about how to cook food to the best optimum. Maybe we should talk about that as well. So we can invite Amma and Mustafa back to help us with that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely necessary. We've got Susan and then Amasewa.
There's also a question in the chat if you.
Oh yes. Before Susan speaks, sorry Susan, because this question in the chat was probably the first one. If we can just mention the question in the chat, which is it true that the food you eat is determined by your blood group? So, example, blood group A shouldn't eat, say, the red, which is tomatoes or something.
Now, that would be a straight no from me. And the reason why that's a no is before we... got a bit of feedback there.
I'm sorry, just
So before we knew our blood groups back in the day, and all of these things, that who's realistically who's checking their blood group before they're eating? It's not a thing. I don't know. I'd maybe like a bit more clarity on that question. I mean, is it regards to anything you've heard, or is it something that somebody has seen? Because actually, that's for me, that's really a no, and I don't even know how to clarify it further.
So a question came from Miss Rita.
Yeah, but she can come back to clarify it.
You can come back to So if you'd like to clarify the question for Dr. Akos, if not, we'll wait for Rita whenever she's ready to come back if she wants to, or you can take the conversation.
Outside.
Off camera and have a personal conversation. That's also fine. So shall we move on to Susan, please?
Hello. Thank you so much. I'm enjoying the conversation. I was just gonna speak just after Dr. Mustafa. I think well done. No. And I feel like Senya Dr. Akos was saying, say, a cultural thing. I also think, say, like Dr. Mustafa said, hygiene standards now, they will be better, say, I have to approach the way our animals need a bit hygienic, same baby for friend. I had no bells, so almost shed a new anymore in chepa. So maybe we can gradually learn to start not overcooking our foods and start believing some you see in rules in our day to prevent contamination and all that. It doesn't mean 100% say BBI is safe though, but at least we can have some confidence it's been well managed and chimu be brave and make it lose its life and everything else. And also touching on the fruits, I don't know if you want to touch on the smoothies aspect, because sometimes and you'll be an fruits on its own. And obetime just one fruit, 2 fruits, but in a day you need more than just one type of fruit to balance the whole diet. And so if you feel like you are not able to achieve that, I feel like putting them into a blend or a medley, like smoothies and fruit blends can help. If you're lactose, not every smoothie contains milk. Some people like to add milk. Some people add like chia seeds and almonds or some nuts and all that. It depends on what you feel like your taste wants, and you can make different smoothies, and you can still achieve nutritional value. Because if you put different fruits together, fruit beer near a day, contribution. So it helps, and our body more nourished.
Yeah. I mean, I will agree with you 100% on that, Susan, because definitely, I think it's even easier that way. So, for example, when I try to, it's difficult to eat 5 fruits by themselves. If you think about it, who's sitting there peeling apple and then pear and banana is difficult. But if you chuck them all together, chuck them in in a blender, whiz it away, and then you just drink it like a bit of juice. The only difference is, I always say, again, it's better to make homemade ones because you know exactly what's in it. Because usually when you go to stores, and I know there are these stores that say, they've got these fruits, and sometimes they blend it in front of you, but they're still adding things like juice from concentrate and things. Again, it's not to say that's bad. I'm just saying that it's usually better to make them at home yourself. Again, you made a point about being lactose intolerant. So if you're lactose intolerant and you're using almond milk, when you're making it at home, you know what milk you're using. You know exactly what you're using. The only downside to that is some fruits don't go very well together. So some fruits, when you put them together, some of them curdle. So when you make your own smoothies, you come to find which fruits work and which don't. And another thing I've started to like a lot is even mixing vegetables with fruits. And again, my mother does this all the time, but she mixes things like, cucumber with spinach, and then she'll chuck in a kiwi and an apple. And she says, I'm having a green smoothie today. And I think it works really well because even something like rockets, which is really bitter, but when you add a bit of fruits to it, then it suddenly makes it sweet. Imagine adding an apple to, a bit of rocket. So you're actually having that really good rocket. You're having it in the raw state because it's not touching any heat. So you're actually having the leaf in the raw state, but you're actually drinking it as a smoothie, and it really helps. So honestly, smoothies, I would say, are my 100% go-to. If you can't have fruits and vegetables, chuck it in a blender. The only thing for me is I get quite lazy sometimes, and even cleaning the blender is a problem. So sometimes I don't bother to do this. But if you don't like, but yeah, no, smoothies are 100% top choice. So yeah, that's a good one, Susan.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the homemades are the best. I make my own homemade smoothies, and you can find so many ideas online. And what you find, sometimes you don't need to really go by everything. Let's say if there's a fruit in there you don't like, you don't really, you can substitute. And I say, ubetimi eyibiem efrimu. And also, as you start following these things, like that's what social media sometimes you get from it, the good parts. We always say about different people, different things. Not udishia, like spinach with celery and all those things, to say green ones. No, and you can mix and match so many things as well. So it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. Thanks, Susan, for that. That was really good.
Just to piggyback off Susan's question, is you said you're talking about smoothies because when I started my diet, I was very big on juicing. And how about juicing? I know there's a train of thought that says a juice, no, it's not. It's almost like you're missing like 50% of the fruits because juice, then the roughages sort of go into the bin part, or it gets so. Is it not also a healthy sort of option?
It's still a healthy option. So, I mean, anything that you're doing at home as opposed to buying it, buying fruit juice in McDonald's or buying it in, I always say doing it at home is always top choice. But the only reason why I tend to not like the bits where you're taking away the skin is because you're actually losing a very good component of it. So you're losing your fibers, which are also very, very good to have. But having said that, it doesn't take away from actually the actual vitamins in the fruit, because if you think about an orange juice, you'll still be getting, or you're losing the roughage, which is, a bit of the fiber, but you'll still be getting the vitamins from the juice. You'll still be getting your components. So it's a bit give and take. I mean, some people don't even like roughage, and some people don't like skins. And I mean, it's just, either way, it's better. My point is better to have the full thing. But if you're somebody who doesn't like it, it's like I always say, I like potatoes with skin, and it's good for me because the skin of a potato actually provides extra bits of benefit. So again, like I say, it has the added fibers, it has other bits of extra things for your health. But if you don't like potato skins, you peel it away. It doesn't mean that the actual potato itself, you're still getting your nutrients from potatoes. It's fine, give and take.
Smashing. But I say thank you very much. On to Amasel. Amasel.
Hello? Okay. Yeah. I've just put a plantain in my mouth.
Fried or boiled or roasted?
No, it's roasted. I put it in the air fryer.
Good.
Yes. I'm just going to answer. I'm going to say something about Dr. Mustafa's comment on shito.
Mm-hmm.
Shito is a sauce which we can't make shito every day. So with shito, I know people who make shito in this country. Before you take it to the shop, you need to take it for them to test it. There's a whole lot of process that it goes through before they can give you approval to send it to the shops. So I know that. So I know he said he's doing a research into shito that it causes cancer. Please. Well, I am very interested in in his research. I just want to know the findings, because then that means shito should be abolished. Because the foods that we eat now, I mean, it's not they are all genetically modified. And when we talk about cancer, all the foods that we are eating, I would just say it causes cancer. So when we want to do research, we should be very careful. But I am very interested. I want to know the results of his research. I'm really interested. Secondly, I want to say something about juicing. Juicing is good. But in a way, I think about a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, when juicing became a life, it came into the spotlight, everybody was juicing. Sometimes when you see some people's bottles, it's like they have to just drink everything. With juicing, I was actually surprised when I attended, should I say, a workshop after I've had a treatment, and then there was a workshop, and then the lady who came to talk to the group said, you don't need a whole gallon of juicing. You just need a glass of juice in a day. And then the juicing, there are some fruits which the sugar content is high. So I prefer to juice. I love my berries. Berries are excellent. And then I do add soursop to it. And then I add my Ghana ginger. The Ghana ginger, and then that's my smoothie. Yeah, sometimes I can parboil, peel, and other things. When I go for grains, I know what I'm doing with the grain. So I think it's another topic too, which I would just love the two of you to educate us, the Ghanaian community or the African community, about juicing, what should be put in what, so that, when they are doing it, they know that they're doing everything right. And even the food that we are eating, it's so, when you buy an apple now, just buy it within seconds or minutes, it's turned brown. So again, the foods that we are eating is actually causing cancer and other diseases. So that's I will end. No, I'm not going to end. I've got one question for. Oh, sorry, it's gone. I've got one question for. Sorry. Oh, I think I have to come back because I had something.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I had three things to say, but I think it's just flown off my mind. Yeah.
Don't worry, just come back when you've got it back.
I'll come back. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And just to add, so I got this comment from a friend, and I think it deserves an honorable mention. So to Dr. Mustafa's research, he says that he's tampering with fundamental human rights. Just so it deserves an honorable mention.
I told you, you're digging yourself a hole. If you're going to touch people's shit on, then
But yeah, but interesting. So we will look forward to that.
I'm the chat said Ethiopia.
Oh, Debbie, that doctors, they're very important. Just a joke. But fundamentally, if shit does cause cancer, that would be quite.
Then we all have cancer, basically, isn't it?
So we all don't have cancer, but it just changes a lot of things in terms of like the way Ghanaians eat now. That's quite scary. Let's hope not.
Yeah, but there's some things I say, all die be die. When it comes to shit, I don't think we'll stop.
Oh, doctor.
Don't bother with the research because it won't make a difference. Anyway, sorry, continue.
But Dina Ajuman, please.
Hello? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I was muted. Me pacho, concerning shitono, before the introduction of blender, na shitono ye wo jene no ene kakaduro no wo dua mu aye frɛ no awaduro na ansana pepper no aye use na ye dry pepper eno so na ye bewo na ye awo amane no enti na ma ni process no a ye di cookie shitono na ye less na niema na ye black no enye se si so chair na ye black wo the fish powder ni gumu na ene na change ne color emane ye black no na first say wo twam a se shito wo ha wo bete ne pampai because of the way ane ye no even say wo di a You'll be biting into ginger, you'll be biting into onions, you'll be biting into the pepper, you see the seeds and stuff. But of late, because of introduction of blender, BBA are blended. And even the taste of shito, the way we used to have it in the 80s, it's not there. And even the aroma is also not there. And and yani cooking ni bebre no. And again, nienti ama yen mefas Africans yeduane no eche no. Yenuane ni nyina no so wobehwa ehye mankani hye bayre hye banch hye even body ne kran so no san hye coat san ka ho. And jise uji sa ni skin nyina even sa mankani uba hohoro ho anu a ni skin no it will take time. Wontimi ma mankani beye bia 5 minutes and by 5 minutes. Me uminimu be kekao. Talking again about something like kontomire any nyadwa ye friend in Torowan. Wonno a samenya uputokra enye yi. Enintino the type of food ayen di no ene na ma yaduane no wonno a echere. Se wo hwe bibi ti sa benkwan nkatenkwan untimi mfa nsisu na nkase 10 minutes aben, but so we light super it can take less time because tomatoes any makono onu ai one kakra na wo dia you so na say jinkra wo steaming wo fish or meat wo di guso wo yiyi ya wa blended ye gum ti eno no aben, but yen kwan no ne de eno na che se wo hwe hakra na abrofo no so mo ye bibi ti say jacket potato anase potato new potato aye boil na it takes time because ehye ade mu anything na ye aduane untimi nka banku nka ne sese ya say aben banku aka ne ntama na 30 minutes na aben enti mpacho ye nuane no the type of nuane a ye di no na ma ne chere me da say.
And it is true, and I think so. I can tell the passion coming out from Auntie Dina's voice. I know, I love it, and I think it's true. Well, this is why I said there are different types of foods, and we really need to maybe have a section on how to cook, and we'll add the juice in together. So we maybe have Akosua's kitchen or something, and then but you make a very, very valid point, and you're right, because bayre, cassava, all those things when you're boiling them. But I think when I mentioned about the cooking, I specifically mentioned about the tomatoes and the boiling tomato. There are things that, yes, need to be cooked for a very, very long time before, and that's natural in any given situation. But there are things that we can cook in less time. And I think maybe adapting the way that we cook as well, because like I said, even if you're doing like the nkontomire stew, we can make the stew and then put in the nkontomire right at the end. And I think that's how most people make it anyway, so that the nkontomire itself does not have to stay a long time in the fire. But the others as well who will put the nkontomire right in from the beginning and then it's overboiled. So I think it depends on how a person cooks and what a person is cooking. But I think you make very, very valid points. If it's saying adwa, say definitely you cannot put adwa on the fire for 5 minutes and then take it off, because you're basically even killing yourself in a way. So, I think they're very valid points, and we need to take all of this into consideration. So thank you for your comments, Dina.
Midas, yeah, that's it, Dina. And just to remind, just a gentle reminder, sir, you can ask us to sort of delve into specific topics. You can ask us to do specific topics as others have done. And see if there's anything that's you feel say will be useful. If there's anything I feel say, about it, you can just you can IM us, you can you can further contact us on our Instagram or even put it in the chat. We'll take note of it and then we'll try and bring a session where we can talk about these things. Now, Akosua, I have a very interesting question for you here. So it says, Doctor, please, can you tell us a bit about sex and life expectancy? So as in the frequency or enjoyment of sex, is it an essential part of health?
This question. Why does this question always seem to creep into health discussions, Okay, so it was saying the frequency of sex.
Yeah, the frequency or enjoyment of it. So I guess how does it link to life expectancy? I believe.
So there are two schools of thoughts to this, and the most common one is that when the act of having sex, in most cases, should, if it's consented, obviously then both parties are enjoying. Somebody said nice question in the chat. then both parties are enjoying the act of procurement. So in that,
what are we procuring?
So having said that, then yes, it should because what happens during the act is that actually chemicals are released, and some of these chemicals are oxytocin, the love chemicals, and some hormones in the body. And these hormones actually, the enjoyment hormone, and all these other hormones actually can help with the increasing your life expectancy. So I don't know if you've heard about this thing about the more you laugh, the more that laughing gives you. It adds like 5 minutes. If you laugh 5 minutes, it adds something like a year or 5 years onto your life or something like that. Basically, it's the same thing, because what does laughing do? Laughing is like you're enjoying something. Chemicals are released, hormones are released. So the release of these hormones actually help with helping you live longer. And in the same reverse, obviously, if you're depressed and the more down you are in mood and these hormones are lowered, then then actually your life expectancy can be reduced. So to answer the question shortly, yes, the act of having sex, if it's consensual, and if it's and if both parties are enjoying it, then in that case, yeah, and it's done safely, because you can go and do the act and be happy within that 5 minutes. But if that happiness is going to now bring you unwanted pregnancy, is going to bring you sexually transmitted infection and all that stuff, then actually that 5 minutes of enjoyment boosting your hormones compared to the lifetime. Imagine if you end up with an STI or sexually transmitted infection because you haven't done the right thing or practiced safe sex. That sexually transmitted infection is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them will stay with you for the rest of your life. And effectively, it will end up killing you rather than anything. So, practice it safely, essentially.
So essentially, it is good to have sex on a regular, but done safely.
Yes, but safe, yeah, safe sex.
Okay, and we know what to do. We've got Yao.
You say yeah, and I'm in so because Yao's hand is up and
Yao, Pacho.
Thank you very much. But I feel attacked, but it's okay. Let me ask my question. Just a follow up to the question the other person asked. Sex in relation to weight gain when it comes to the women and weight loss when it comes to the men. Because there's like a myth, okay, the more you have sex as a man, you lose weight, and the more you have sex as a woman, you gain weight. Can you throw more light on that myth? Thank you.
Well, I would say that from sort of my general knowledge of how things are, in both cases, I think if it's being done, then it should rather be both people losing weight, no? Because sex is a form of exercise. In some terms, you would say, again, if it's being done properly. Now, I'm going to make a joke of a friend of mine who used to say things like, and I don't know if this is appropriate actually, but a friend of mine used to say that when it comes to their experience with whatever Ghanaian African women that they've been, Ghanaian women don't actively involve themselves in the act of having sex, and they just feel like it's the man who's doing the hard work. So the woman's usually just lying down and the man is the one who's doing the work. But if it's done properly and both are engaging in it actively as they should. So maybe that's why women are adding weight and men are losing weight, because if men are doing all the exercise and the women are just receiving the exercise, and maybe that's why but if both parties are actually actively involved in the exercise, then actually both parties really should be losing weight, because it's a form of exercise, really. So yeah, so that would be this is not medical, it's not medically proven, it's just my sort of understanding of how it should be. So yeah.
Biden.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with the question, with the answer.
Excellent. Thank you for your question as well, Darcy. Those were two very interesting questions. I didn't know about the myth as well. Say, sex makes women gain weight and men lose weight. That's very interesting. And Pacho, I think that will be the last question, because we are, if I say, about 9 time is up. Doctor, any sort of last words, any last comments or anything you would like to leave our viewers with?
Yeah, no, I'd just like to thank everybody for really engaging with the talk today. I just really want to reiterate that your kitchen is your pharmacy. So remember that anything that you have in your kitchen is basically what, again, another saying is you are what you eat. So essentially what you're putting into your body. So make sure you're having those essential colors of the rainbow in your fridge, fruits and vegetables. You're allowed to eat carbohydrates and fats, but eat it in moderation, please. And please don't burn your food, because Dr. Mustafa is doing a research about burnt food, in particular shito. So maybe we should put shito on standby for now until the results of the research is back. Before we can eat it. But no, honestly, thank you guys for being so engaging and coming on the show. And we look forward to seeing you next week. But yeah, no, thanks.
Just to add, tomorrow we've got a time with Tap Tap Send. So that happens every Thursday, same time, 8 o'clock. So a time with Tap Tap Send will be tomorrow and every Thursday. And then on Friday, followed by Ask the Lawyer on Fridays. So tune in to Ask the Lawyers for all your immigration or law questions. And once again, we would like to thank Tap Tap Send and OT Media for sponsoring. And could you all please download Tap Tap Send and use them to send money abroad, as they are the best in town. Have a good evening, everyone, and see you all next week.
Oh, sorry, just before you go, I just wanted to give a shout out to some of our faithful watchers. So I see Jonas. Thank you, Jonas, Nancy, Rita, and even Amasewa. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Yao, Mustafa, Alohan, Josephine. I mean, all these people who are always coming on the show and just supporting us. We really, really appreciate you. And thank you so much for coming on. So yeah, thank you. And like Abena said, see you next week, same time.
Bye.
Tap said. Oh, it was my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With oneness, baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap Tap Send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through Tap Tap Send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download Tap Tap Send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download Tap Tap Send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other tell the world you channel, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download Tap Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
After successfully redefining Accra's skyline with the delivery of the signature apartment, Cape May Properties presents an exclusive unveiling of the tallest residential building in Ghana, offering a first look of Sultan Sky. Sultan Sky, a magnificent representation of the seamless fusion of quality, groundbreaking innovation, and pioneering architectural brilliance. An extraordinary structure set to reshape the concept of upscale living, thanks to its inventive attributes and unparalleled commitment to precision. This master-planned residential development will focus on the building's location, security, privacy, the design's aesthetic brilliance, elevated features in each living space, cutting-edge smart home technology, and amenities beyond imagination, with fantastic residential features which include 24-hour concierge service, a state-of-the-art fitness center, a floating tennis court, a floating swimming pool, a spa, a sky pool, a sky lounge, a movie theater, co-working spaces, kids zone, distinctive lifts for staff and deliveries, private gardens, chef's kitchen, expansive terraces, entertainment rooms, restaurant, and 24-hour security. Sultan Sky, a new perspective in the sky.
Lawyer Wisdom of Wismart Solicitors. Join me this and every Friday on OT TV from 8 to 9 p.m. for all your UK immigration matters. I hope to see you there. Thank you.